Hey, do you make music or at least want to make music, but you don't have money for a recording studio or anything because they're so goddamn expensive? Um, so you want to make music in your room or covers or something like that, but you don't know how because everything's a little confusing and you're a little stupid, just like me? Well, do I have the video for you? I don't know how to fucking start this shit, man. I'm so locked in right now. What's going on? My name's Twitch. I make song covers, specifically Vocaloid, Utaite, and Odorite covers. I'm also in school for audio engineering, so I know a little bit about this stuff. And when I was first starting out, I found that there was a lot, wasn't a lot. When I was first starting out, I found that there wasn't a lot of videos that really kind of made sense to me and like dumbed things down. Everything felt very overwhelming. So I wanted to come on here and try to make a video in a way that like me from like 5 years ago would understand in hopes of helping someone else out that was in a situation like I was. Now, keep in mind, especially in terms of recording and music in general, there's never a one size fits all solution to anything. You're never going to find a video online that you can just watch through and you exercise all those steps and it works perfectly for you. You know, recording, it depends on the room you're in, the mic you're using, your voice type especially, your skills as a singer, your skills as a mixing engineer, mastering engineer, whatever, right? But these are just some starting tips. I'm going to be going over a few things such as, you know, mic choices, room acoustics, how I, you know, get myself into my kind of zone when I'm doing it, I guess, because that is actually a lot more important than you would think it is. And maybe some common mistakes that a lot of people would make. So yeah, and if you have any questions at all or anything that I didn't cover in this video, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. I would love to answer that to the best of my abilities. Like I said, I've been through the trenches with this, quite literally. It's been horrible. So I'm gonna try and save you from that. Personally, I do Utaite covers, as I mentioned, so that's like Vocaloid, Japanese songs, a lot of J-pop involved in that. I've done a little bit of more like punky, rocky songs. That's usually like what I'm more focused on, but these tips should work for any genre, realistically. If you find this video helpful, let me know in the comments or something. Yeah, okay, I'm never recording an intro again. Can I never do that again? Great, okay, let's get into it! Stop. Step one. Please practice your song. I'm gonna be going over literally every single mistake that I've ever made. Please, I am begging you, practice your song before you start recording. Because it may seem like you've listened to it a lot and you're screaming it in your car and like, it sounds fine, right? It's not fine. It's really not fine. I'm telling you that right now. I spent probably 2 years recording, just winging it. Like, I'd look at the lyrics, learn the lyrics, would maybe run the song once, then get on the mic. When I tell you, first of all, I was so off pitch, it's not even funny. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Balls.
Balls.
Let me tell you right now, yeah, first of all, you're gonna be really off pitch and it's gonna suck. Unless you're like a really well-trained vocalist, I'm not. I usually, for I think the most recent cover that I've been working on, I practiced that for I think like just 8 hours straight. The difference between that and my previous covers was genuinely just night and day. Crazy how if you actually practice something, it makes your life a lot easier. So do that. Step number two. First of all, drink a gallon of water. I also like to get like a little tea with honey, or like hot water works as well. When you're on the mic for like, I usually only spend like an hour and a half, but like sometimes it can take literally all day. It starts to wear on your throat a little bit. It seems very obvious, but staying hydrated, having a tea nearby really does wonders for you. Warm up. There's a lot of good warm-ups on YouTube and everything. I usually warm up for like 20 minutes at first. Step number three. This is so important. You don't even understand. You have to feel confident in order to sing confidently. I always like to do my makeup, put on a little bit of a fit before I actually start recording. You need to put that energy in because there's a lot of things that can be fixed in the mix. You cannot fix the energy you put in. And that's why, again, if you look back on a lot of my my older covers, you can hear it in my voice, right? Like I sound very stiff and I sound very, very uncomfortable, and it's because I was. So yeah, no, it's really a confident booster. Get dressed, put on a fit. If you don't wear makeup, put on a fit. What am I on? Step number 4? So a few things you're gonna need. You're gonna need a mic, you're gonna need a mic stand, you're gonna need a DAW, you're gonna need a way to plug your mic in. You can use USB mics. They kind of suck, I'm gonna be honest. I would suggest getting an interface. Anything else you need? Headphones. So a lot of the gear that I use, these are DT990 Pros. They're Beyerdynamic. I'm gonna be honest, I recorded with AirPods for the longest time. It's not the best, but it can be done. You're gonna need a way to monitor yourself, right, so that you know how close you are to the mic. Obviously, you need a microphone. A good beginner mic, in my opinion, is the AT2020. That was the one I wanted to start out with. I ended up just getting a better one. I use the Aston Stealth, but I always recommend an AT2020 just because it is lower in the budget. I think it's around like $200 Canadian. That's like your general really good starter mic. I do suggest doing your own research to figure out exactly what mic you need. Each mic is going to have a different sound. Usually in terms of like studio recordings and everything, you're looking more so towards cardioid condensers. Generally, a lot of dynamic mics are used for live sound, but you can also use them in a studio recording. It's just you're not getting as much of the high-end frequencies. That can cause some problems in the mixing stage, especially on vocals. You want that crisp high end. Yeah, AT2020, especially for vocals, is pretty much a classic beginner mic. Audio interface, I use Art USB Mix 4. It's not as good quality as it probably should be for how far along I am in my little music journey. Ew, that was so gross. Yeah, no, would definitely suggest an interface. You're probably going to need one. What else did I mention that you need? That's it, right? Oh, DAW. Personally, I use Pro Tools. If you can afford a DAW, Logic is really good for music creation, I find. Pro Tools is kind of the industry standard, but that kind of thing does get very expensive. You really need to. Anything like GarageBand also works. It's obviously not the best, but it works. My favorite free DAW that I used to use is actually Cakewalk by BandLab. It has a lot of actually decent plugins on there as well. It's pretty easy to figure out. I used it for probably about 2 years. It works pretty well for me, and I will probably honestly go back to using it until I can afford to get Pro Tools after I'm finished school, so. Once you actually start hooking everything up, you're going to plug your mic into your interface. You want to plug your headphones into that too, so that you can monitor it. Currently, when I'm speaking right now, I can hear my voice. My voice is coming through my headphones right now, which is very important when you're recording because you need to be able to hear how your voice is going to mix with your song. Because otherwise you're going to be, first of all, probably very off time. Even if you can kind of hear yourself, it needs to be a good balance there. So, and mess around with the knobs a little bit. There will probably be an EQ and a gain on there. I usually personally, if it's just a very simple EQ, I like to cut the low a little bit, boost the high a bit. Panning, keep it center. Pretty much panning shifts it from left to right. If I pan all the way over here, you hear me in one ear, and then all the way over here, I'm in the right. And gain is also very important. Make sure there should be a little light somewhere on your interface as well that'll tell you when you're clipping or not. If not, you're going to want to look at your computer, look at your DAW, and see if you're redlining. Try to keep your levels around -18 to like, I don't know, maybe -12 decibels. Any higher than that, you're not leaving enough room for yourself, and the last thing you want to do is go over into redlining, which is like 0 dB. You do not want to redline because it's super distorted. It makes a mess of it and you literally just can't use that clip. So make sure, do a little test run first before you start recording to make sure that everything's, first of all, working properly. Second of all, you're not clipping or anything. You've got a good distance from the mic. I like to stay usually around like a foot, sometimes a little bit further depending on how loud I'm going to be. If it's a quieter song, you can go up a little bit like this, but if you're going to be yelling a lot, you're gonna want to stand back a little bit. First of all, to avoid clipping. Second of all, if you get too close up on the mic, you get a lot of low end boost, which can muddy up your mixes, make your vocals a lot less crisp. Okay, now once you have everything set up, you're going to want to try to treat your room to the best of your abilities. So pretty much what you want, at least if you're not working in a space that is professionally treated, you're going to want to have the room as dead as possible. This room here would be a nightmare to record in because it's not treated. There's a lot of ways that you can fix this. Acoustic treatment can be very expensive. If you want to do it, go for it. It can be a few $1,000s. But if you have the means, I'd say 100% go for it, because that's your best case scenario. If you don't, closet recordings, they can be okay. It's definitely not ideal, but what I would probably suggest is, if you don't have the means to get anything right now, take your mic, move it into a few places, either around your house or around your room, and just see what works best for you. Take the same take over it, listen to the differences between them. What just sounds the most crisp, the most clear? Things like this matter. What I personally do when I'm recording at home is I got a portable isolation booth. Mine's from Gick Acoustics. I'll link it down in the description. Yeah, so the purpose of an isolation booth is to basically create a room inside of a room so that you're not getting the gross, harsh reverb of your usual bedroom, because your usual bedroom's not meant to be recorded in the first place. I'm recording at home. I take it, I set it up against my closet so that I have my closet behind me, the isolation booth in front of me, and that kind of deadens the sound, because you can always add reverb later on in the mix, but you can never really take reverb out. Yeah, so usually isolation booths are really good, especially if you're just doing vocals or recording one instrument at a time. Okay, and now we're recording. And now we're recording. And now we're recording. A few tips for recording. Like I said, watch how close you're up on that mic. Make sure that, your clothes aren't rustling against each other too much. You're not hitting the mic stand. Do not hit the mic stand, I beg of you. Oh, also, another thing I wanted to mention, make sure that you're singing into the front of your mic. Because sometimes people don't think about that, and then they put a pop filter over their mic and then sing into the side of it for 2 years. Crazy. What I usually do, my recording process personally, I go through the song a few times, just completely balls to the wall. And then after that, I start chopping it up into sections. So I'll do the intro, and then the verse, do the chorus. Because by chopping it up into those smaller sections, it's easier to focus and make sure that you're actually getting good takes. Now, what I will say is, even if you think a take is horrible, do not delete it. I beg of you, do not delete that take. Because I will tell you right now, there's an 80% chance that you're gonna need that later. Because there's a chance that, maybe you didn't hear it, but there's a little bit of interference in maybe literally one line of the song. Maybe you don't like your tone in that very specific line of the song, but if you deleted everything else, you can't switch that back out. The one take that might have been absolutely horrible, maybe that one line was decently okay. You can take that, shove it in. Oh, and that's the other thing that I wanted to mention, is when you first record, they're your raw vocal tracks. They're going to sound a little bad. I'm gonna be so real. You're gonna put the music under it, and you're gonna hate it. Shut up. Try to get the best and cleanest take you can. Try to get it to the point where it's decent. Try to get it to the point where you, don't want to pull a Vincent van Gogh. Once you've finished recording your main vocal tracks, most songs are gonna require doubles. So I always like to record a few extras. I want to make sure that at the end of it, I'm going to have at least 3 really good takes. So that once I edit it later on, I can stack them on top of each other. It really helps the vocals sit well in a mix. That's the one thing that I found when I was recording. I would just lay just one really good vocal track on it, and I'm like, why is this not sounding proper? It sounds so thin and shitty and terrible, and oh my, why doesn't it sound like it does on the radio? It's because most songs on the radio have the singers singing 3 different times underneath that. Yeah, I think that's it, actually. That's the entire recording process. That's it. Congratulations, you just recorded. Yeah, I will probably make another video on how to mix for blondes like me. If that's something you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe! Yeah, so that's pretty much everything. At least that's my process, personally. There might have been a lot of things that I missed because I never planned this video out. I just kind of got on the mic and started saying things. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Like I said, I would love to answer them. If you would like to check out my covers, my music, it's all on this channel. I will leave a little thing here to my most recent one. I have another one coming out soon as well. I also do dances with a lot of my covers. Thinking about making a dance tutorial. Who knows? If that's something you'd like to see, let me know. That was disgusting. I'm never fucking doing that again. Just kidding, I'll do it again in 5 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you liked the video. Anyways, bye!